lead generation. There are hundreds of forms of lead generation, right? The challenge with those is that over the years, we found that there are kind of like two different piles of lead generation, or two different buckets, however you want to call it, right? One of them being 90-day or less lead generation, the other being 90-day or more. So what do I mean by that? There are different forms of lead generation where you will generate or should generate an actual buyer or seller that is going to close within 90 days. Okay. And then there are other forms of lead generation where your buyers and sellers are probably not going to close within 90 days. That means they're going to take longer than that to do that. So if you think about those two buckets, right, you look at that and you say, okay, what makes the difference between those? Well, it's kind of easy when you look at it. These are the ones where you've got buyers or sellers that are buyers or sellers. I know you're thinking, wait a minute, how do you do that? Hold on, bear with me for a second. The other ones, call that fishing, right? Call that farming, call that marketing, that are advertising, things like that, where you don't know if you send a postcard to a neighborhood, do you know that they're a buyer or seller? Not even close, right? I mean, you have no idea. So that makes it a challenge when you're looking at lead generation. And how many of you are fairly new or within the last year or within a year of being an agent? Anybody? Anybody? Okay. All right. Somewhere. Okay. So you come into the business, right? And you come into real estate and you're thinking, how do I make money? Not just how do I make money, but how do I make money now? Anybody have that question? Yeah. Anybody? Yeah. Right. Okay. All right. So when you have that question, you've got to break it down into where can you go to find buyers and sellers that are actually buyers or sellers now, as opposed to in the future. Does this make sense, by the way? Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about, so today we're going to look at the 90-day or less, because that's usually the piece that you should start with. And it's also the piece that most agents don't start with. Well, let me give you an idea. So for those who've been around for a while, Ash, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in years. Anyway, nice to see you. So you look at this piece, you look at that process and you say, all right, if you go anywhere, everybody always tells you to start with what in real estate for your lead gen? What have you guys heard?
Friends and family.
Friends and family. Okay, friends and family. So let's talk about friends and family. Do you know if they're buying or selling right now? Not necessarily, right? And are you nervous in contacting your friends and family at first? Okay, Monica, you're not. All right, you're the only agent in history who hasn't been nervous
I've
contacting
had
friends.
a very interesting history with contacting friends and family. I could tell you later, but I don't want to take time up now. But it's been extremely frustrating the reasons I get why they won't work with me. And that's where I go. And I basically tapped that resource out, unfortunately.
So let me hear, so I can feel your pain. When I found out that my dad sold his house without using me, let me
Mm.
say that one more time. Yeah, Justin, you see, Catherine and Justin, yeah, your face was like mine. Exactly that right there. It's like, you did what? Anyway, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, guys, I know I'm not alone in that, right? I've talked to that. All right. Yeah, I mean, friends, family, all that kind of stuff. So you look at that piece of it, but we don't know, right? Unless we've actually had the conversation about buying or selling, we have no idea, right? It's kind of like sending a postcard. All right. So what are the other ones? How about sphere of influence? Anybody been told to do sphere of influence? Okay. Do you know if they're buying or selling? No, right? I mean, yeah. Okay. Um, Anybody ever been told to do farming?
Mhm.
Do you know if they're buying or selling? No, right? You have no idea. It's kind of that you're fishing, you're casting that fishing net, not even a fishing line. You're casting a net and hoping that something swims into it when you look at that. Plus, here's the other difference. How much money do those forms of lead generation cost? right? So if you're starting out and you need to put checks in your pocket and somebody says you need to do sphere of influence, well, they're telling you that you need that you're going to do a lead generation source that is not going to close within 90 days most of the time, and that's going to cost you money. No wonder we have such a high failure rate in the industry, right? All right. So let's change that. Let's look at 90 days and shorter. If you think about that, where can you go? What can you do where you know that the person that's in front of you wants to buy or sell? Think about it.
Open house.
In open house, yeah.
Ooh, Raul, say that again.
Open house.
Yes, that's one. So open house, because they're coming to you. Why do people go into an open house? For the most part. Because they're
Because they're interested.
yeah, they're driving through a neighborhood. By the way, that's the number one source, drive-bys, right? I mean, it is. They're driving through the neighborhood that they want to live in, and they see your sign, and guess what? They walk in, right? Okay. Or if you've done it correctly and you've invited neighbors, they're walking in because they're either nosy, but by the way, that's false. We think they're nosy neighbors, but what really are they?
I'm a nosy neighbor.
But a lot of times they're potential sellers because they're going, oh, let's go look. Let's go see what this one's going for because mine's around the corner and I want to see how it compares.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay. So think about that. All right. Good. Open houses. By the way, that's one of my favorites. Love open houses if you do them correctly. Right? We'll go into that. All right. What else? What else is somewhere where you know that the people in front of you are buying or selling?
The expired listing.
Expired listings. Why? Because it was just on the market. Now, keep this in mind too as we go through this list. There are some of you that are going to hear open houses and say, yay. There are some of you that are going to hear open houses and say, ain't doing it. There are some of you that are going to hear expireds and go, yeah, I can do expireds. And there are some of you that are going to hear expireds and say, there is not a chance in you know what that I'm going to pick up a phone and call a bunch of expireds. I said, look, I see some of your faces going like this, right? Jody, you're one of them. You're not calling expireds, right? I know your personality profile, right? I mean, Catherine, right? I mean, and that's just the reality of it. I mean, that's one of the things that we don't talk about enough either. Okay. All right. So expireds, yes, because you know that they're buying or selling, right? And sometimes on that one, it's both. Okay. Same thing for open houses. All right. What else? What's another 90-day or less where you know that somebody standing in front of you is probably a 90-day or less buyer or seller?
I was thinking a model home.
Could be model homes, right? Do you have builders that are in the area, right? Right? Do you have and I'm not talking like a DR Horton or a Lennar because they've got on-site builders or the on-site salespeople, right? But small ones, like an MJ Taylor, by the way, that may not have an on-site agent unless it's MJ Taylor. You'll notice MJ on the phone on the screen, right? So I can use this as an example. So I mean, perfect, right? So you happen to be a builder and an agent. So you've got this, I mean, you've got these houses that you build at spec home coming in. Man, what a great opportunity. And here's the other piece. Do you have, if you weren't there, would you have a salaried on-site full-time salesperson? Probably not, right? Which means there's an opportunity for who? You guys. Because if you go to that builder and say, hey, I'll host your open houses. Really? Wow. Okay. Because most builders do have a budget to pay whom?
Buyer's agent.
You. Yeah. They've got an agent budget, right? Regardless of what side. Right? Most builders have an agent budget. Okay. Builders, love them because people that are walking in, it's kind of like the open house piece of it, right? The only difference in that is that the closing can be a little bit longer if it's a from dirt construction piece. And, all right. Give me another one. Who else? What else?
By owner.
Oh, yes. For sale by owner, right? They have a sign in the yard that's telling you what? I want to sell my home. and I just don't have enough information to hire you yet. Right? So they need your information. They don't know your value proposition. Now I'll say this on a for sale by owner. The reason people do for sale by owners is that you've got usually two people that own the house. Let's say husband and wife, partner, spouses, whatever it is, right? One of them wants to do it himself, herself, because they think they can do it better than you. Right? Why am I going to pay you to do this? I can put a sign in the yard, right? Okay. And then you've got one that's the other one that I'm telling you doesn't want to do a for sale by owner. But they say, yes, honey, go ahead and do it. See how it goes, because the one with the ego is also doing what? The ego is the one that wants to do it, but without you. The one with the ego is saying, it's okay, dear. I'll handle everything. You won't have to do anything. We know the truth on that after about a week, right? The one that doesn't want to do it is the one stuck holding the bag. Yeah, exactly. All right. So that's a process, but guys, our conversion rates at one time for sale by owners was 50% within 30 to 45 days that they became our listings. Right. All right. So you got that one. All right. What else you got? What else? Give me another one.
Withdrawn properties that were on the market.
Withdrawns. Yep. Look at your MLS and board rules. There are some of them that kind of frown on withdrawns, so make sure that you're following that piece of it. I love withdrawns because to me something didn't work. Right? Something didn't work. Oh, and by the way, if you're scared of expireds, I got an in for you. Oh, Catherine knows it, right? You don't have that sitting there, do you? Darn. Okay, it's called a thrash sheet. We send out the first time we ever did this, we sent out 100 of these thrash sheets and we got 25 inbound phone calls. And keep in mind on expires, let me give you another little tip on that. Go back 3 to 5 years and find the ones that didn't sell 3 to 5 years ago. Because something in life got in the way and life may be different now. And you think their house is worth even more than it was 3 to 5 years ago? Right? Okay. All right. Had somebody that actually did that one time and ended up with 17 listings in 60 days. 3 to 5 years old. Okay. All right. Why? Because nobody else is calling them. Right? That's an easy one. All right. What else? Give me another one. Think about it. Where can you go where immediate 90-day buyers and sellers are walking to you, are coming up to you?
Was it something with divorces you can look at? Maybe
Divorces is a big one. Yep. Find an attorney that is an estate planner or a family law attorney. Okay. Because what happens in a divorce?
sometimes they gotta sell.
Exactly. Because somebody's losing half. Some of y'all laugh at that, and some of you are going, all right. Right. I mean, just rally. So, and here's the other piece of that. What happens with marriages? Same thing.
Yeah,
Two
when
buyers.
you get
Yeah.
married
Right.
and they move into one person's house, they gotta sell the other one.
That's right. How about kids?
Yeah.
Newborns, right? Birth announcements.
Be bigger houses.
Exactly. Right. Okay. So think about this. All right. What else? Where else can you go? This is a fantastic list, by the way. I mean, this is an amazing list.
How about downsizers?
Okay. Downsizers. Okay. How about seniors that are downsizing? Right.
I
And,
was
but
gonna say the neighborhoods around us put out those graduation banners
oh,
with the
yeah.
names, and a
Mm.
lot of times they put the signs in, even in the house, the front yard. So I've done it where I've driven through a neighborhood and scribbled down the mailbox numbers, and then just hit them all with a empty nesting, looking for whatever, and gotten a
Yep.
few hits off of it.
Yep, absolutely. Keep in mind, even with those types of things, you don't know for sure, but your ratio is going to be a lot higher because just ratio wise for those last couple ones are definitely higher than doing a farming piece. Okay, there's a couple more that I'm looking for though. There's one in particular that I'm looking for that's just a gold mine, and we're coming up. There's usually There's usually one or two of these every single year in every city.
I'd say neighborhood yard sales.
Okay, yard sales. Oh yeah, I didn't. Even, that wasn't even where I was going, but that's a fantastic one, right? Because a yard sale. Why do you, we're about to have a yard sale? Why? Why are we about to have a yard sale?
Because you're moving.
Yes. Duh. Right? Okay. Good. Yard sales. Right? Great one. One more. One more. I'm looking for. MJ, as a builder, do you ever have displays up at home shows?
We do. Yeah.
And who's walking up to your booth
People with homes.
to do what with?
Either improve them to sell, improve them.
To buy, to sell, to do,
Yeah.
to improve. Think about it. You got a home show in your area. Now,
Mhm.
home shows are sometimes not cheap, right? And you want the display and you want the booth. So grab a partner to do those with. And you can get 3-4 partners because you're there for 2 days. That's a long day. And you've got thousands of people walking through those home shows. But who's walking through them? People that are buying or selling or improving their homes for whatever reason. Right? That's a gold mine that, by the way, nobody does anymore. Very few people do that. Very few agents do that. Jody?
I did that when I first went into real estate and I joined a team. We did that for Savannah here.
Yeah.
I want to say that was like 4 years ago, and our team did that. But yeah, nobody does it. There's all sorts of people there.
Yes, absolutely. Usually it's builders, home improvement, all that kind of stuff, right? Very rarely anymore are realtors going and putting a booth up. Oh my gosh, it's fantastic. Fantastic opportunity. Right? All right, good. All right, so that's a pretty good list right there. And there may be some other ones as well, but you guys see the difference? I mean, the main difference in those in most of them is that you're actually getting face to face with prospective buyers and sellers. Either you're reaching out to them or they're coming to you. So depending on your personality profile, if you're a D and I, you're going to reach out to them. If you're an S and C, you probably want them to come to you. And that's just that's the personality piece of this, right? So if you look at those different ones, what I want you guys to do is I want you to think about all of the ones that we just listed. And I want each of you to give me 2 that fit your personality that you can think about and say, okay, I can see myself doing that, right? That are interesting to you. So whoever wants to start, give me 2. Or just give me 1 and we'll go back around.
Expires and open houses.
Awesome. Okay, good. So what's Rawls' personality if he was first up and said expires, finding and expires, by the
He's
way?
a D.
Yep, you got it. All right, cool. We'll talk more about that, Rawl. Me too.
All right.
I just got these, and my card will tuck in here and it says, I just sold your neighbor's house and I can sell yours too. And then like on the back, it says, if you're thinking of making a move now or in the near future, I'd love to meet you and know this neighborhood well, blah, blah, blah. So we just went under contract. So I'm gonna go stick these in that whole neighborhood on the
Good.
door handles.
Did you went under contract? Did you close yet?
I'm gonna wait till I close. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
we're under contract.
Well, I was going to
I need
say,
to wait till we close, right?
well, I was going to say no, you don't.
No,
Why?
I don't. Okay.
Or
I
would
don't know.
you?
I thought you did.
Nah, hell no.
Okay.
I mean, that's a big myth too, by the way. If anybody's got a buyer that anybody just put a buyer under contract that you haven't closed with? Nobody? Have you had a buyer before that you've put under contract? Okay, who does the marketing for listings? Sellers. Just
Sellers.
listed, just solds. Why don't you? As the buyer's agent. Didn't you sell it? Didn't you sell it? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Right? How about
Courtney
that?
has a buyer right now.
Yeah.
Looking
Yeah.
for her.
Right? I mean, that's the thing though. That's this piece of it as well. We don't think about it from both sides, usually on that, but MJ on that one, what really gets you in front of people is that welcome your new neighbor food truck party that's outside the house.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mhm.
Right. Okay. All right. So Keep going. So somebody give me one of those that they found that just sounds interesting that you would like to look more at. Jody.
I actually liked doing the home show because people are still coming to you. You're still like, it's still out of character for me, but I'm still meeting people. They're coming to me as opposed to me going after them.
Okay. So let me give you a solution to that. Okay. So if you do a home show, if you do even an open house, if you do a food truck, meet your new neighbors, if you do um, uh, anything like that, have a drawing and a giveaway. That's the first thing. So get your mortgage partner, lender, who has a marketing budget, right, to go buy a flat screen TV or an iPad to give away and do a drawing. And guess who puts their name in the drawing? Everybody that walks through it. I mean, if you do that in open house, who's giving, how many contacts are you getting? All of them. Right? And you didn't even have to ask. You know that sign-in sheet? Well, so you don't even need it. You just got everybody to voluntarily put their name and number into your drawing. Right? And if you do that at a home show, guess what? Everybody's stopping by and doing it. Now, here's the other piece of that too, both for any of those live events. If you can partner with somebody that is a different personality. So Jody, you're an S. You're want Raul as your partner. Right?
I do.
Because he will go and talk to people and send them to you. Right? He'll go and introduce. He's the one in the front of the booth shaking hands and saying, come over here, stop here, good. Come on, right? Okay. You're the one behind the booth doing the detail work. He loves it because he doesn't want to do the detail work. Well, he's laughing. He's going, yeah, that's accurate, right? See, that's the partnership piece of this. Again, we don't talk about this enough. And we wonder, we've got to do it all ourselves. Don't do that. Find that opposite partner, because then you work together and you're both in your happy place and you're both doing it well. You're both doing your roles well. Same thing with an open house. Raul's doing at the front door, greeting and making sure that everybody's going in the right direction. And Jody, you're in the kitchen behind the counter where everybody comes second and they come to you, and then you can give them the details and give them the layout of the house and everything else. It fits, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's how you do this business. That's why teams work well in a lot of cases, but that doesn't mean you have to go join a team to have the same results. Just find somebody that is that other personality and work with them on those events. Does this make sense? Yes. Getting this?
Is
Okay.
there like a way to see like which personalities work best together, or is it just pick one that's not yours?
A D and an I works with an S and a C. So put a D and I. So a D or an I, just pick an S or a C, either one. Okay, pick an S. An S can go with an I, an S can go with a D. A D can go with a S, an S could go, an I can go with it, right? So those two with those two. Now, I will say this as a caveat. The I and the S, make sure that you realize that y'all are different, because the I is going to be talking your ears off, right? And the S is going to want to be quiet and just, back there. The D, by the way, is going to be forceful, and the C is going to want more details. So y'all watch that. Okay. By the way, watch what your potential buyers and sellers are. Because when you get that piece down, oh my gosh, your world just changed. Okay. All right, we'll go more into that stuff later, and that's also on the platform too. You guys can log in. There's an entire discourse that goes through all of this, how to communicate with each different person. Is this helpful? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. Because the biggest piece of this, if you don't have a closing within 90 days, how do you turn around and invest in the longer term pieces? The sphere of influence marketing, the farming, the postcards, and all of that. It's difficult if you can't pay your bills. All right. Right. I mean, how do you go and invest in something else if it's difficult, if you're having a hard time paying your car payment? Okay. So 90-day or less. And then here's the other piece of this too. If you will find one of those 90-day or less pieces, just one, and you'll commit to doing that in the next 6 months, over the next 12 months, not including the 6 months, but or including the 6 months, not in addition to, you'll close 10 million bucks. I'm telling you. How many of you would love to have $250,000, $300,000 income? Okay, look, see, yeah, see, now I'm seeing some faces go, yes. Guys, this is the key. Don't chase squirrels. Don't chase butterflies. Okay, find that one thing, especially this 90-day. Do it for 6 months and then add one of the other ones to it, but commit to it. Right? That is the key. There are too many squirrels and too many butterflies in this industry, which is why we don't get good at one of them and we fail.
That was the one big piece of advice that I was given when I first got my license was when you talk about marketing yourself, be really good at 2 or 3. Don't be mediocre at all of them.
Yeah.
And this is, I mean, it
even
pertains to
that's too
everything.
many. Yeah. 2 or 3 is too many. One for every 10 million in sales. That is how it works, because you get good at it. You master it. Let me give you this analogy. Anybody ever been to the Olympics? Okay. You're laughing. I laughed that
I
for a
have to
reason.
afford to be able to go, which is why I'm doing this to try to make the money so I can go.
All right. So anybody been an athlete at the Olympics?
Yeah, no.
All right. So some of you know that my daughter is an Olympic athlete. Tokyo silver medalist, going to Paris. That'll be her second Olympics. Pretty impressive, right? So anyway, how many sports does she do? You get this? You got it? 1. Why do we think we have to do 10 different sports in real estate? You get the analogy, right? I mean, unless you're a pentathlete or, something like that. Guys, 1. Okay. And especially concentrate on the 90-day or less. Concentrate on that 90-day or less, so you can put cash in your pocket so that then you can add to it after that. Because that will give you the cash to expand and the cash to do other things too, right? For all investment properties, all those different things, right? Okay. All right, cool. All right, questions? Does this make sense? Is good? Yes? Okay, good.
I have a question real quick. Earlier you were
Yeah,
talking
Kimber.
about your expireds and sending out a thrash sheet. What is a thrash sheet? I used to do the thing where I would take their listing, I would block out the old agent's information, and I eventually made my own sheet. Basically I was pointing out errors that the other agent made. Like my favorite were like the wrong school. And
Okay.
I'm like, hey, I hate this for you, but they didn't even have the school system right, and that probably cost you the right buyer.
You are on the right track. Let me show you
Okay.
a thrash sheet. This is my favorite with expireds. Give me just a second. Let me pull it up. There.
Because yeah, I'm not an expired caller. I'm an expired, let me give you some information. And so show you why your agent didn't actually get this done for you.
Well, let me show you this, because this is, if we would all approach it as an informational process. Now, I do want to say this, guys. Y'all are in sales business, right? I mean, a lot of times when I ask that, people say, "Oh, we're in the relationship business." You're a salesperson, and don't think that that's a bad thing, which means that you actually have to ask for the close. Because if you don't ask for a close, then the C goes away and you lose. Did y'all get that? CLOSC. Okay, good. All right. So watch this, but this is a great way. Kimber, can you see this?
I can.
Can y'all see this? Okay, this is a thrash sheet. And
Okay,
if
yeah,
you-
that's kind of what I was doing. I love it. Cool.
Yes. So if you notice, and this is the agent version. I don't care if the agent's on there. I don't block that out. I want them to see it, man. There's nothing that says I have to block the agent out, but I'm going to send this out and I'm going to circle the front picture. I'm going to circle the price. I'm going to circle the description. And then I'm going to circle this area down here. What am I circling, by the way?
The agent remarks.
Agent remarks, commission, blah, blah, blah.
I would be pointing out that contact call center. It's just
Ah,
one
yes,
more level of
that as
separation.
well.
It's not a
That
personal
is-
level of service.
Yep, that is another one as well. Okay. So what's going to happen? I know why your home didn't sell. This is a real one, by the way. Call me. And we ended up listing and selling this one, just to give you an example. But if you notice, there are a bunch of things that I love on this. So somebody's going to call you, and I'm going to give you a fair warning on this. They're going to be pissed off when you answer the phone. What do you mean you know why my home didn't sell? Seriously, that's what you're going to hear on the other end of the line. And you're saying, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, hey, there are a couple of things, and that's why I circled those that we do that's a little bit different than the average realtor. If you'd like, I can, well, before I even get into that, why do you think your home didn't sell? Well, the agent didn't do that, right? I mean, that's it. The agent didn't do blah, blah, blah. Okay. Awesome. You know, that's what we find as well. Let me ask you this question. Do you still want to sell your home? Well, of course I do. Good. And if we actually had a buyer that was going to bring you your correct price, would you do that? Oh, yes. Great. Yeah. Okay, good. Let me give you just one example of why I sent this. And I love to use, let's just take the pricing example for this. You know, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we see this listed at $390,000, correct? Yes, yes. Anybody want to role play this with me real quick?
Sure. I'll do it.
Oh, good, Monica. All right. So, so Monica, yours was on the market. Your property was on the market at $390,000, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're moving somewhere, I'm assuming?
Yeah. I got another job. So I gotta
Okay.
move to another city.
Oh, fantastic. So are you searching for a new home in that city?
Just a home right now. It
Oh,
doesn't have to be
I love it.
new. I just need to find something because I gotta get
And
there.
and I'm assuming that you're looking online in all these different sites.
Yeah, it's like 3 states away. So
Okay. So what do you put in for pricing when you're looking for your new property?
it's a lot more expensive up there. So fortunately a
Is
little
it?
less.
Okay. So do you put a range in? I mean, are you in the, like, just as an example, 425 to 450 or
Yeah, about that.
375 to 400? What are you
Yeah,
looking at?
425 is probably the max.
Okay. All right. So that's fantastic. So in other words, you're looking probably between 4 and 425. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. When you do that search at 4 to 425, if your home right here would it come up in that search?
No.
Oh, okay. Let me ask you,
No.
could it have been the perfect, I mean, you bought it before, would it have been potentially the perfect home for you now? If it was in that new area?
Oh yeah. No, I love the house. It's
Ah.
just I gotta move somewhere where and it's just the housing pricings are much more, so I get a lot less for my money where I'm
Ah.
going.
I got it. So just as an example here, see, the average agent actually does what we call a Walmart pricing
Did he
philosophy.
freeze? Did I freeze?
What's that? Nope. Are you Who's there? Am I still there?
Ah, there. Yep, there you go.
Okay. So the average, can you guys hear me? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So the average agent in the industry, unfortunately, does what we call a Walmart pricing strategy. Have you ever been through Walmart and you see 1999, 1998, 1997?
Yeah.
I know we happen to see that all the time. Well, do you know what that means in Walmart? Do you
The
know why
different
they price like
numbers.
that?
You're still
Okay.
thinking of like the $13.99, not the $14 that it's really about to be.
The
No,
psychology of the number.
It's the psychology of the number. Plus, it's also this 1999 means that they just got it in and it's brand new on their shelves. 1998 means that it's starting to get about halfway through its life cycle and it's getting down. 1997 is last call. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but once it's 1997, it's off the market. Well, here's the issue with that. If we do the same pricing in real estate, you're missing half of the potential buyers that could be a good opportunity for your property, right? And what I mean by that is instead of pricing it at 390, I probably would have suggested 400. Here's why. Let's take the search that you're doing right now. Well, if you search from 400 to 425, it comes up if it's priced at 400, doesn't it? Now
Yeah.
the price point below is 375 to 400. It'll also come up in that price point too. So if
Mhm.
you're looking and this home were actually transferred to where where you are moving to, it's actually at the lower end of your price point. And you got $25,000 extra to make it personally yours, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if it doesn't even show up, you never have that opportunity.
Yeah.
So Monica, this is just one example of what I see on your listing sheet. We want to actually get double the number of eyeballs that are looking at that so that we can potentially get more people walking through it, because that's the name of the game. If they look at it and it doesn't even come up on a search, then nobody ever gets a chance to see it. And I'm guessing that you probably didn't get as many showings as you would like. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the first things. Obviously, there are more that we circled too. I'd be more than happy to prepare a custom marketing plan specifically for you, for your home, the goals that you have set and the current market conditions. And it'll take probably about 24 hours to do that. And I can come by tomorrow at 1 or either after 5, sit down and show you the rest of the things and how we can do it and get it sold for you. That'd be good.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow.
See you at 5 o'clock.
Y'all get that? Right? I mean, did everybody, we are recording this, by the way, so you can go back and watch this. And it's also already on the platform, this exact thing with that exact conversation, by the way. So how was that? Was that good? Now you see what that is? When you're pointing that out, and I love the pricing one, and I really love it when it's $399, $999.
Yeah, the used car stickers.
It is. It is the used car thing. We are not in Walmart and we're not on a car lot, right? This is not the same thing. It's a different thing. And notice what I said a lot in I happen to use this a lot in my conversations with about anything with a buyer and a seller. I use 2 words, 3 words all the time. And I said it probably 6, 7 times during that conversation. Once I say this, you're going to go, oh. The average agent. The average agent. We do things a little bit differently. So, and I do this one. So are you going to prepare a CMA? Or are you just going to do a market analysis? You know, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, the average agent does what's called a CMA in today's world. In other words, they just pull it up on the MLS and they put something on there and they give you a range and all that. We do things a little bit differently. We prepare a custom marketing plan specifically for you, your home, the neighborhood you are in, the current market conditions, and to match the goals that you have. Is it a CMA? Yes. Which one do you want though? You guys get it? And then the next time they talk to an agent and they say, hey, I'm going to prepare a CMA, which they have no idea what the heck that is anyway. What do they think in the back of their mind? Average agent. You guys get this, right? Okay. All right. Your words matter. How you present your matter. Remember, as we come up in the next 12 months, especially starting mid-July, don't we have to know our value and how to set ourselves apart a little bit better? That's what this does. Okay. All right. Did that help, by the way? Monica, is that good?
Yes. Yes, it did.
All of you guys, that help? Here,
And
I'm
one thing
putting,
that's different that you did that I'd say is not average is, at least from my experience in watching, is people will try to pitch themselves where you asked questions
yes.
and worked around based on your questions. You didn't come on, oh, this happened, and just give a pitch. No one's going to listen to that on the phone.
Nope.
So
Nope.
I couldn't
I
take
try
notes while
to
I was
ask,
talking to you, but I liked the way you navigated it and figuring out
yeah.
what order to ask the questions and so forth.
And I went for little micro agreements in there all the time too. Do you see how that could potentially bring more people to your home than what the average agent does, right? That puts both of those together. Oh yeah, yeah. So you did this a lot, right? That's what you want. What? Oh, so Janie, who ran, our team, just said, make sure to tell them to make a copy before you send that, so that when you get the calls back, exactly. You don't have to go pull it up and wonder, and you can go find it. Make a copy. Ask us why we know that.
I did that same thing. I filled out my sheet, dropped it in their mailbox, and they called, and I'm like, crap. Yeah, looked
Yeah.
like the whole, only made that mistake once.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, dude, make a copy. These they work. If you guys, I mean, if all, it doesn't matter if you're a D, an I, an S, or a C. If you guys would go and pull up your 3 to 5 year old expireds that didn't sell, and you sent all of them these, you'll be amazed. One, you'll be amazed at how many there are, right? But if you sent them that printout from there, you're going to get some phone calls from sellers. Okay. Catherine's laughing. All right, cool.
It also taught me though, doing that, I'll say on the listing side, it also
Yes.
taught me to be so incredibly thorough and impeccable in my own listings, especially when
Yes.
inputting them in the features, because
Yes.
there's no better lesson. Like I don't want to eat the crow that I'm serving, right?
Yes.
And so
Exactly.
it made me just really, really hone in on my own listing. Like when I do the listing, bringing that level up that much higher, because I don't want someone sending my sheet to someone else.
Oh, yeah. Well, and you get in here and just little details that you guys can point out when you're looking at this. Directions. Directions are huge. And I'll give you an example. This one here, let me share this again, and I'll see if you guys see it. All right. And by the way, I did drop that thrash sheet into the chat. Okay. Okay. Look. So what do you guys see? Is there any down here? What do you see about the directions?
They make no sense.
Why do you say that?
SR 64 East off. What is SR?
State Road
North up
64.
and- Okay.
Well, you say go north, and most people, I mean, yeah, maybe the sign says it, but I don't have a
Yeah.
compass that tells me, okay, I'm headed north.
That even though everybody has a car compass that's in there, people
Mhm.
like left and right before they like north, south, southeast, northeast. I mean, and this one's a combination. North on Upper Manatee Road, right on Country Meadows. Yeah, I mean, I'm a lot
Become
now.
circle northeast. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
sounds like the gas station guy in the middle of nowhere giving you directions.
Yeah, I like north, south, east, and west, but that's because I spent many years with a compass and things like that. But most people want left and right, and that's just a little detail thing that you could point out when you do that. I will tell you too, you've got a fantastic opportunity now because I mean, we're not going to get in. Yeah, we are too. This is my dadgum call. I can say anything I want to. When it comes to the commission pieces of it, guys, this is going to be a big discussion coming up, right? Justifying and being able to show your value to be able to get your fee, right? And that's a great opportunity for you guys. Fantastic. We'll go more into that too, right? But there's just a lot of things in here. I mean, make this so they can see it, not just gorgeous views surround this bright. It's as you drive down your entryway, you're going to notice that kind of. And by the way, Chat GPT, I would take that, copy it, put it in Chat GPT, and say, write me a good listing description. It's amazing what technology will help you do. And then this one too, just to look at it, that picture right there is terrible.
Yeah, the cell phone photos are the easiest ones to go after.
Oh
So,
my gosh,
what
yes,
were
they
they
are.
charging you? Oh, 6%? Well, they use their iPhone to take the pictures.
Yes,
I
yes.
like seeing the photos that have the date on the picture because nobody does that.
My
Right.
favorite one is the from the outside of the bathroom when they're reaching around and it catches the reflection in the mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, all of you have seen that, right? Yeah. All right, so these are good ways. Y'all think about this and truly, pick one of these. Don't pick more than two. Please, 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 I beg you, don't pick more than two. Pick one optimally, two, okay, but commit to just doing those for the next 6 months. I'm going to tell you your business changes. your business changes. Don't get distracted, and make sure it's a 90-day thing, a 0 to 90, something where you have the ability and you have the opportunity to get face to face with people. The people are there, right? Okay, that they're buying or selling. Yeah, Monica.
What if you're not quite sure? I know we can look through the personality thing and see, but I guess how long would you suggest we commit to one of these and it quote unquote not working before we drop ship and focus on another strategy?
So 6 months,
Okay.
but I'm going to tell you this. If you committed to doing this for 6 months, here's what's going to happen, right? Week number 1, are you going to get any results?
Maybe.
Maybe. More than likely, what? Probably not.
Probably not.
But that's when everybody quits, because it's that instant gratification thing. Week number 2, guess what? You're going to get a little bit better. Week number 3, you're going to get a little bit better. Week number 4, your conversations are going to be fantastic. This is just what happens. Most people quit after week 1, 2, 3, or 4. They don't keep going, right? And if they haven't gotten the results that they thought they were going to get, we have a tendency to overestimate what we can do short term, but underestimate what we can do long term. Have you ever heard that? Right?
No, but I like it.
Okay. It's true, right? Because we set these goals or we have these expectations, but we don't give ourselves time to master our craft, like that Olympian who's working 4 years to do one event that lasts 30 minutes. How's that for dedication to one craft? Right? If we take that and do it in our microcosm of real estate, everything about your business changes. I'm telling you. So commit to doing 1 or 2 of these for 6 months. It will work. But do the one that you go through that list that matches your personality. Like if you're an S, Jody, do not pick cold calling expires.
Come on, that was at the top of my list.
Right. But you guys get that, right? Pick the one that you're going, because you're going to look at the list too, and there will be some of those, even though they match your personality, you're going, oh no, right? Find the one that you're going, all right, I can see that one happening, but do commit to it. That help, Monica?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. That is the biggest mistake in real estate. It truly is. Too many things, not enough dedication to mastering our craft. Okay. All right, y'all. Cool.